Hello, boys and girls. This is Jason Moore here with MTGOacademy.com. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I'd like to welcome you to the latest installment of Dime a Dozen. 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 This is going to be a variation on the deck we piloted last week, which was Is It Control. This is still an Is It Control deck, but this is something I'm calling Kuldotha Control. And the reason I put this together is because of this card, Artificer's Epiphany. This is a new card from Magic Origins. I wrote about this in an article for blackborder.com and also brewed up this very deck. And after trying this deck out, it actually turns out that I think it's pretty damn good. I've been having a lot of success with it just in the testing. And so now we're going to step it up a little bit and put it in the two-man queues and see what kind of success we can get there. Now, you see this card, Artificer's Epiphany. It's not a great card, but it is an instant speed divination, which is pretty nice when you have a shell that can support this. And even the discard portion of it could be potentially abused or capitalized on in certain decks. In this deck, I'm not too interested in doing that. I'm more interested in just playing a deck that plays artifacts and can cast divination at instant speed. So we're playing 2 copies of this. I started with 3. I felt like that was a little bit too much. 2 has been satisfactory so far. So some of the other incentives to playing an artifact-heavy control deck certainly must include this card right here, Galvanic Blast. Now, this is one of the best removal spells in the format, and it gives this deck a lot of reach. It makes it possible for this deck to close out games. If you just have a couple Galvanic Blasts, you can really formulate a quick game plan for shutting things down as the game is coming to a close. So that's one of the reasons to be playing a lot of these artifacts. Another reason is the card Trinket Mage, which is going to enable Metalcraft for our Galvanic Blasts. It's going to find us an artifact for the Artificer's Epiphany. And in general, it's just a solid card for a control deck. It can act as a Borderland Ranger by getting us one of our 11 artifact lands between Darksteel Citadel, Great Furnace, and Seat of the Synod. You'll notice that we're actually only playing 2 basic lands in the entire deck, 1 mountain, 1 island. Everything else is either a dual land or an artifact land, and that's actually been working out quite well for me. A few opponents have tried to abuse the fact that we're playing artifact lands by using Gleeful Sabotage and then Gorilla Shaman type effects, but it really hasn't done that much to slow us down so far. Now, speaking of this Trinket Mage, we're sporting a 3-card package on top of those lands, including Viridian Longbow. This is a card that we use to combo with our Singleton Silkbind Fairy by equipping the fairy, tapping it using the Longbow's ability to ping a creature, untapping it with the Silkbind Fairy's untap activated ability, pinging again, paying 2 mana again. So it's a nearly limitless combo depending on how much mana you have at the time. This is a machine gun combo. We can shoot stuff down, and it's pretty cool. I like it. We also have a main deck Relic of Progenitus, which I've been using. I think I've been pretty happy with having one of these in the main deck. There's a lot of decks utilizing the graveyard, including variations of blue-black, mono-black control, and Esper Familiars, amongst other things. Stompy utilizes Rancor, which uses the graveyard, and so does Hexproof. So there's a couple different things that you can abuse. Undying creatures you can catch with this relic. And then we have a Pyrite Spellbomb because I felt wrong not having at least one piece of tutorable removal. And in decks where we don't need the removal, we can just cycle this and it's not a big deal. Now, speaking of artifacts, we're still talking about the benefits of artifacts. We're playing 3 Ichor Wellspring and 3 Kuldotha Rebirth to abuse the Wellspring. When we combine both of these cards, you essentially have a Hordling Outburst at an easier mana cost. So 2 colorless for the Wellspring, red for the Rebirth. We get a Hordling Outburst and we draw 2 cards. So that's a great value. Also, these rebirth tokens are great because they can act defensively when we need to, but they can also get very aggressive and close out games in a swift manner once we pair it with our various burn spells. Excuse me. Now, aside from that, we do have Frostburn Weird. I find him a little underwhelming in this deck so far, but it's a nice defensive creature. That 1/4 body at such a low mana cost to us is pretty relevant in terms of gumming things up on the ground. And then we've got our typical control deck package of 4 Preordain, 4 Counterspell, and 4 Muldrifter. And I find these cards to be among the best blue spells in the format. I've been playing variations of these type of decks with those 12 staple cards because I think they're just so powerful and they enable a lot of different control strategies. So I've really been having a lot of fun with that. In our sideboard, we've got just a hodgepodge of different things we can do. We can board into the Curse of the Bloody Tome plan against slower decks that are very removal heavy and those decks that invalidate our creature attack plan. But so as long as those decks are slow and have limited ways to interact with the curse, they can actually get milled out. So this is a viable alternate win condition in those matchups. We've got a number of answers to small creatures, including Electrickery, Curse of Chains, and Serrated Arrows. We also have a resilient creature that works against Delver in Stormbound Geist and is also very resilient against other control decks with a lot of removal. We have an assortment of counterspells, including 2 copies of Dispel, 2 copies of Hydroblast, and 2 copies of Pyroblast. And to round things out, we've got a second Relic of Progenitus, which we can tutor up with our Trinket Mage in those matchups where we want to disrupt our opponent's ability to interact with the graveyard. So this is Kuldotha Control. I've been playing it quite a bit. I really like the deck, and I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say if you have any input whatsoever. We're going to be playing 3 matches in the 2-man queues, and I think they're pretty action-packed. Hopefully you will enjoy them. And that's it. That's all I really have to say. So we're going to get right into the battles. I want to thank you guys very, very much for tuning in to Dime a Dozen. Hi folks, welcome to the 2-man queues. We're playing a deck I like to call Kuldotha Control. We have won the die roll, and we're going to play first. I'm going to keep this hand. We need double blue for Counterspell, but I'm going to try and find that with my Preordain here. So let's go. And worst case scenario, we can Preordain and play Viridian Longbow, but I think we'll be okay here. No surprise to see some blue. Now that we have a second blue source, we're actually just going to pass the turn and leave up Counterspell. If he's a slow control deck, we can just hit all of our land drops, and there's no real rush for us to do anything. So I could throw out Viridian Longbow here, but I'm not sure that I want to. Oops. I mean, I suppose we can do it if he's Delver and he tries to counter this and we counter back. Next turn he might tap out for Spire Golem, but we're going to be able to play our third artifact and Galv Blast that. So I don't think we're in too bad a shape. He lets it go, so I think he's just a slow deck. We're going to see. Clock is going to be important if this is a slow control matchup. Looks like he's missing a land. Kind of hard to tell. A lot of draw goes about to happen. He's going to discard so we can see what he's working with. Snap! So I think he is Delver. Well, I'm just going to pass again. I don't want to play Silkbind Fairy and just have it get countered. Okay, here comes a threat. I'm going to go ahead and counter this. Hopefully he missed his land, and then that's going to give us Silkbind Fairy, which may just blow the game up. I mean, just completely win. He pitched Snap, so he probably has a second one. So I'm going to actually play... Ooh, we have a Trinket Mage, too. So that could get us our land, and that would just really... So we could go Trinket Mage, land, Frostburn Weird. I think that's even better than playing Silkbind Fairy. We could also get our Pyrite Spellbomb, but we have the Galv Blast and the Longbow in play. So I'm actually going to do this. I probably should have gotten another Seed of the Synod, just because it's very possible that we may want to preordain with Counterspell backup. But with this board state, the main thing is he's going to have a tough time dealing with it. Just based on the fact that we've got two relevant threats. We have a relevant artifact here. He actually could be Esper. Now that I think about it, I think he's Esper. We don't really have confirmation of that. But the fact that he pitched a Snap, played Cloud of Fae, and had nothing else to do, there's no way he's not Esper here. Delver decks can ponder, they can preordain, they can do a lot on 2 mana. There's no way he has 7 to 8 cards in hand that are uncastable. So I'm going to board as if I'm facing against an Esper Familiar's deck, because I'm fairly certain that's what we're facing. And the fact that we already took game 1 is good. So I'm trying to remember how I do board against Esper. It's a little hard to say. We do cut some things because we have some stuff to bring in. We definitely leave in all of our removal. We may cut the Spell Bomb. It's the clunkiest of our removal. But Silkbind Fairy is interesting. Maybe a little win more. The Frostburn Weird, I think I'm going to cut. The board usually gets gummed up fairly well. So that means things like Rebirth and Frostburn Weird are probably not going to cut it. We need a way to win, though. It's probably not Silkbind Fairy. Oh, I'm going to cut Frostburn Weird. I think we cut Kuldotha some number of Rebirth, probably not all, because the ability to pressure is very useful. We want a lot of this stuff. We want the Pyroblast and the Dispels. So I think I am going to have to cut the Spell Bomb just to get more in here. Maybe I cut Epiphanies. Don't have a lot of time to decide. If I cut the Rebirth and Wellspring package, then I get 6 cards, which would be Dispel, Geist, and I could also have Electrickery if I wanted it. And we just beat him in the air. Yeah, I think that's actually correct. The main way for us to pressure is to fly over, actually. Oops. 7 3-drops. And we could bring in the Arrows. Arrows is good against the Nightscape Familiar, and it can beat the Cloud of Fairies. So I'm going to try this boarding. I don't remember if this is exactly what I did, but our plan really is to kill everything, counter anything relevant, nuke the graveyard, and then fly over for the win. And it's really not as unlikely as you might think. Now, hopefully he actually is Esper. This hand's fine. It's not very exciting, but we're going to let it happen. Oh, so he is Delver. So it looks like we misread what our opponent's doing. Our boarding is not terrible, though the 2 copies of Relic are not great. Wow, he actually is Delver. I wonder why he conceded. What was in his hand? It's a little bit insane to think that... Well, we still have a lot of removal in the deck. If I try and tap out for Prophetic Prism, he might just hit me with Spell Stutter Sprite. I want to get to Geist with the spell backup. I think we kind of have to go for the Prism. Leaving up Dispel doesn't do much. I mean, maybe he brainstorms into a Delver flip. I think we'll just go for it. If he has Spell Stutter Sprite, he's probably casting it anyway. So him getting the Sprite versus countering our Prism, it's not too much of a difference. This also gets our artifact count up. Alright, nice draw. So now we can deal with Delver next turn and start throwing down threats after that. And he didn't flip, so he doesn't even have the tempo advantage. Now, there's a problem here because he could have double counterspell. What I'm going to do is actually try and blast him on his upkeep. Before this even happens, before he even knows what he's going to draw. Now, he could come down with a Spell Stutter Sprite. And he does, so that kind of sucks. But if he misses a land, we can get a Stormbound Geist, and I think that'll be great. And he did not flip. Okay, we're still taking some damage. And he does have that land, so hopefully not a third or a second Sprite. So we really don't have an answer for that. Could draw another Galv Blast. Ooh, okay. Well, the Geist is still pretty good. I think it's better than the Fairy. And we have an answer for Snap, even though he probably can counter back. Our boarding's not terrible against Delver, but it's not exactly where we want to be. Alright, he's really whiffing and really flooded out. This looks like it. Oh. Okay. We got some Geist on Geist action. He didn't even send the Spire Golem. That's interesting. And now we know we have Silkbind Fairy. So I'm just going to cast it. That could be good. Oh, actually, we don't know. If it's another Sprite. Ugh. Well, them's the breaks. Well, we can cast Muldrifter with Dispel backup next turn. Yeah, there's a counter spell, so we can fight that off. No big deal. So he's going to come in with what? Just the Geist. And the Golem. So I think I'm going to take 4. I think my plan next turn is to double block the Spire Golem. So I'll just take 4 here. That could be wrong because he's got a lot of stuff he can do. He should try and counter us since that's all he's sitting on. We finally get to make use of this Dispel. Alright, and we have a Serrated Arrows next turn. Or another Muldrifter. Now, we should have considered what would happen if he attacked with everybody. And he might do that this time. Nope. Well, I'm going to try for the double block. Since we know we're resolving Serrated Arrows or Muldrifter next turn. So, what's better? He could attack with everything. which I think makes Muldrifter better, so I can block more creatures. Deprive. Well, here comes a counter spell. This last card is an island, so we may have just stabilized here. We've got a Trinket Mage, which can get Viridian Longbow or Pyrite Spellbomb. And we have a counter spell, and we have Serrated Arrows. So I think we may be stable here. Yep, he concedes. We win the match. Get our first pack of Magic Origins. Awesome. So thanks, guys, for watching. That was a kind of weird match. I don't know what was going on with his opening hand. But even with our improper sideboarding, we were able to stabilize and take down that entire match. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Alright, kids, we're here on the draw. We're going to keep. Our opponent has kept 7. We do have our colors. We do have some counter magic. Looks like it might be Stompy. Oh, looks like it might be Hexproof. Could also be Domain. I'd rather it be Domain because I don't think we have many tools against Hexproof. But if he kind of is stumbling, we might be able to counter his relevant auras. I don't know if there's a lot we can do outside of that. So let's see what he's doing. Elvish Mystic. What's that all about? Elvish Mystic, Abundant Growth, and he's missing a land. So we could just fire this. I think I'd rather counterspell than leave up Artificer's Epiphany before we move forward. We'll counter just about anything at this point. If it's another Abundant Growth, then probably not, but... Okay, he's going in for the beats. So I'm going to let that go. And he does not even hit his land drop. So again, I'm just going to leave up everything. So he's probably more than one color. Yeah, we'll go ahead and just counter this. What the heck is this deck? I don't know what this is. Okay, he's got another one. So there's a couple things we can do here. We can Firebolt and leave up Artificers. I think I'm just going to leave up Counterspell again. I could Preordain and try and find another blue, but I'm a little bit concerned of what he might be playing. Oh, he's Elves. Oh. It's just a weird version of Elves. Well, I'm just going to counter this because I think it helps keep him off of mana. But we're going to have to start killing stuff because... Yeah, well, I'm going to kill the Birchlore Rangers, I think. Because I think he's, holding some big business. We've got a lot to work with here. I might kill the Mystic because this makes him... I can actually kill 2 creatures this turn. Firebolt, Trinket Mage for a land, Galv Blast. That seems pretty good. While it would be awesome to Trinket Mage for a longbow, we also want to hit our land drops. So I think this is about the best turn we can have. Plus we have flashback on the Firebolt if we want it. And he's still down to just 1 mana. Well, it took me a while to figure out what the heck he was. Okay, so this is looking great. What do we do? We could preordain, leave up Artificers. We could just slam Muldrifter. It's probably our best turn just to slam Muldrifter and start pressuring him. Maybe hit a land drop here. So I'll go ahead and go for that. Oh, and we are going to attack. Since he's very far behind on mana, we have a lot of removal here. Okay. Well, he can kill the Muldrifter, but he's going to lose the growths. And I'm going to kill her. I guess we preordain first. I'm going to look for another counter spell, or just another win condition. I mean, both of these are actually fine. We probably don't need the second Epiphany. The Galblast is fine, though. And then we can play Prism here and preordain again. But let's see what we draw with the Prism. We may want to leave up Counterspell. It's a bit of lag. I can't tell if it's me or him. Okay, so let's preordain again. And another Galblast. I guess I'll take it. Just want to kill a bunch of things. And this happens sometimes where you just draw all the Galblasts. Oops. I'm glad it corrected that. There is a bit of lag or something weird going on. So we have 8 points of burn in hand in case it goes to that. Sure. I think I'm just going to end step hit that guy. Because why not? We have 2 more removal spells. And now we have Counterspell. So I think we can Epiphany first. Oh, the lag is unreal. Let's try again. There it is. There it is. So just a divination here. He's pretty far behind, as you can see. Not going to preordain. We're just going to leave up Counterspell and Galvblast. Ugh. Yeah, we're wasting a whole minute less. So we don't even need to Galvblast here. Whatever he casts, we'll just untap and Firebolt it. We're going to have 7 mana. Yeah, that's fine. Well, that's a good one too. 3, 7, 8. So I guess we can do both. Come on. Play the mountain. Yeah, this is going to be a tough game for him. Seems like I got to do everything twice. We still definitely have Metalcraft. So he may just pass. Okay, well, I'm going to preordain first. Well, both of these are pretty good. I suppose I'll just Spellbomb his guy here. And I can play out Longbow. It might be the case that we don't want to show him Longbow. Because as of right now, he doesn't have a lot of relevant things he would want to. He doesn't have a lot of relevant things he would want to hit with Gleeful Sabotage. So it's possible we keep him from boarding that in. Now, a lot of people have been boarding that in against me, but if I don't show him Longbow, if I don't have to, it may keep him from doing it. Okay, so we take game one. He is just a typical Elves deck, but he is running Abundant Growth as a way to splash blue, I would assume. So not a lot of changes really to make. Just want to have more ways to deal with creatures. And we definitely have that in the sideboard. So I'm thinking we probably cut Counter Magic, but I don't want to cut all of it. But we'll see. We'll see where we end up. We do have these 4 cards to bring in, actually. Pyroblast is okay as a 1-mana answer to Distant Melody. I mean, I think most of these cards will be pretty relevant. We could cut Epiphany for just a couple counter spells. We'll have less ways to draw action. But we still have a fairly decent amount. At the same time, I think our plan is really to kill his whole board so that his Distant Melodies don't do anything. And then Epiphany just draws us into more ways to kill his board. So I'm going to try it like this without any counter magic. And the plan will be just to remove everything that's on the table. And hopefully that invalidates Distant Melody a fair amount. But we'll have to see. Typically the Elves decks that I've seen in the past run about 12 to 13 lands, so it's no wonder that he just stood on 1 land. So I'm actually going to turn 1 Bolt the Bird, even though we don't have anything else going on. Oh, now we have the Seat, so the Seat is going to make things good for us. My plan right now is just kill everything. And maybe that slows him up. Okay. Alright, so we're going to want to preordain for something. The Curse of Chains actually is okay too. But I think the preordain is slightly better. Just let us figure out how we can sculpt the rest of this game. Oh, we should have cut that Relic of Progenitus. We definitely don't want that in the deck anymore. So we're going to bottom these. And now we just have to pass. It's kind of lame. Okay, Spider Silk Armor does stop our Electrickery, but it's not a huge concern otherwise. At least I don't think it is. We'll see. He's down to 1 card. And this Curse of Chains is pretty much invalid now that there's a Quirion Ranger on the table. And there's a Frostburn Weird, so I'm going to start with the Preordain. We may end up playing the Frostburn Weird. We may end up killing something. Yeah, so we want both of these. I'm actually going to end up shooting the Quirion Ranger, I think. And I'll take the opportunity to play a tapped land here and just shock the Ranger. Next turn we have Frostburn Weird and Curse of Chains if we want it, so we can tap him down. It all depends. Oh, a second one. Okay, we do have that somewhat dealt with. His last card is most likely Distant Melody. If it was Gleeful Sabotage, he may have even taken the opportunity there to take it out, so. I'm going to curse the Mystic. which at least keeps his mana down a bit. And obviously, these other guys can untap already. If he doesn't have a green spell, they're going to be tapped down regardless. And it looks like he doesn't, so I don't know what he's bluffing here, but I'm just going to block. It seems like a bluff to me. Oh, wow. And that gets out of range of our fire bolt. Still going to play the Mole Drifter. We can now double block a creature. Oh, it is an elf. I thought it was a distant melody. So we're going to take 4. Okay, so this is interesting. We could play another Frostburn Weird here. And that stabilizes our board just a bit. So we can kill some stuff. Frees up some mana for us. Hang on, I'll use red. Represent some things. Frees up our mana later for this Mole Drifter. So now he doesn't really have any attacks. But his board is getting out of control. And we can only trade, but with as far as these pumps go. So the armor is doing a number. Let's see the attack. He's just gonna, okay, so I'm gonna kill the Bowmaster. Interesting. Could play that, but I don't think I want to. I think I'd rather play the creature. Try and find another Galvblast. These are both unimportant. Okay, well I'll just play the Longbow now. He's going to have to play a creature pre-combat to get to attack. And he's got one. He's got a good one. Oh, draw 4. Now that's pretty dang good, but he does not have, hopefully, a forest or a guy. He's going to be able to untap next turn. That's for sure. So equipping does do something for me, but first, before anything, I'm going to draw. Okay, so now we can just start killing guys. So I can shoot. I don't get to equip. I think that's still okay, because I can trade off the weird with a guy if I want. Alright, this is going to be tough. Actually, that might not be correct, because he could play a pretty threatening creature, and I don't know if I have the mana for that. I guess I can equip now and flashback Firebolt. Okay, I can deal with you. I'm just going to F6. Yeah, this is going to get gross. think I have to kill the Quirion Ranger. Wow. Well, I guess I could somehow find double Electrickery. That would deal with a lot of this board. Elves in general is just tough for a control deck to deal with. Okay, so that's a must kill, so now I have to put like 1,000,000 mana into destroying that. Oh, it's still going. Alright, well, I don't think we're winning this game. I mean, I think our best bet is double Electrickery, which doesn't even get rid of this or the Nettle Sentinels. Yeah, we're going to add some counter spells to the mix, but maybe we shouldn't be so liberal with the removal. It's hard to say. We at least get to see more of his deck. That's good. But when his deck kind of goes off like this, you can just see the repercussions. We really made to pay for this. And this is not a deck that I built in mind, or I had in mind when I was building this. You could certainly tune this deck to have a better Elves matchup if you really want, but not too relevant to me. Now he's 2-4. Yeah, I think I'm just going to concede. But we do get to see most of his deck. I think that's part of the fun for him is just getting to go nuts with this. What the heck? The activated ability went way to the top of the screen. Look at this. Look at this. No, I don't think there's anything we can draw here, especially with double spider silk armor. So I'm just going to concede, save some time. We're about equal on the clock because we have lag and he has, I don't know. He took a long time to do all that stuff. I think we're going to put in 2 counter spells. Just for stuff like spider silk armor that we can otherwise not deal with. We don't want Relic of Progenitus. What else did I miss that's not good here? I think that's about it, actually. The Cursive Chain's not great, but... Okay, game 3. This will be exciting. This could really go either way. We have a pretty consistent flow to our deck, and there's a chance he might stumble again. He might have to be risky with his early mana elves, and we might be able to take advantage of that. However, this hand is not going to do it for us. Let's mulligan. Alright, this hand looks fine. He gets away with a turn 1 elf, but hopefully after that we can punish him. I will counter any creature he plays. I will not counter an Abundant Growth. Anything else, I will counter. Even if it's clearly a bait or whatever. Could also be all he can do. I don't think it is all he can do. But you never know. Okay, so he's missing a land. Now would be a good time to find removal. Now, land is okay, but at the moment, I don't think that's what we're looking for. We can Epiphany next turn, and I really don't want to rebirth here. So I'm gonna. He gets to have another turn. Hopefully, there's nothing too crazy he can do with it. Okay, Electrickery would also be sick. There's a Firebolt, so we could guarantee Firebolt here. We could Epiphany and let him kind of go off. Because 3 mana is when he starts to get armor and stuff like that. I think I'm going to Epiphany. We kind of need to hit the land for arrows. And we need to hit something heavy hitting such as... Yeah, he's going to armor here. So that kind of undoes the arrows, which sucks. I mean, it doesn't completely undo it, but it's pretty close. So here I'm going to preordain. I'm going to end up firebolting something because he's pretty close to... Yeah, I guess... Is Longbow any good? We're going to firebolt, play a tap land. Next turn, we can arrows and rebirth if we want. I think the rebirth's not going to happen for a while. So that means we probably don't want the longbow. Alright, so I'm going to firebolt. That at least kind of puts him down on mana. That's it. I got nothing else. So, depending what happens, we're possibly just firebolting again. Yeah, just going to firebolt again. Now we could Wellspring and Rebirth, but I think I just want to kill his board. Okay, Archer cannot be killed. Just kill another mana source. Ooh. So now maybe we just start rebirthing, Galv blasting. I think we use the Firebolt on the Rangers and save the Galv blast. So I'm going to do that now. Even though it gives him another turn to kind of stabilize. I'd rather take out the mana source. Okay, we're going to draw 3 cards this turn, so that's pretty sweet. Got to be careful with this. We don't click on the wrong artifact. Ooh, another one. Maybe I'll just do that. Oh, we don't have Metalcraft for this Galv Blast, so I guess that's not the best idea. I am going to rebirth, though. That whole line that I was talking about was not the best idea. I'm going to rebirth again. So we have enough lands here. And this is a pretty nice stream of guys to try and win the game with. Okay, so I can kill that by a number of ways. I think the way I am going to do it is arrows and firebolt, and then when he blocks with the archer, I can also kill that. Gotta get creative, you know? So he takes 5. He's going to lose his guy, and I think that's pretty good. Who knew that all you needed is to fill your deck up with shocks to really get the job done? Ooh, Gleeful Sabotage. Okay. Well, I'm still going to attack. That's pretty good, too. I don't know if I should play it. He's just going to take it. Okay, well, I'm going to play this then. Now I can fly. Well, his guys have reach, but not bad, not bad. Well, I could play this. I think it makes a better use of our mana, so let's go for it. He may sabotage it, but he doesn't have any other targets, so that's kind of nice. So what else you got? Wow, nothing else. So he's sitting on... He's sitting on... Wow, that's interesting. So I actually can just kill his guy if I want. And then he takes 7. I think I'm fine with him taking 5, even if it costs me the Mole Drifter. There's a higher chance of him having more creatures to deal with than anything. Right. So I'm actually going to use the Fire Bolt to free up my mana. And also because the Pyrite Spellbomb I can use as an instant speed trick. Looks like we're going to pull this one out from what I can tell. He doesn't have much of a shot anymore. Huntmaster. Yep. Unfortunately, I got your number, bro. Yep. Alright, we take it down. The elves all went down in flames. We burned them to hell. Hope that was fun for you to watch. Hey guys, one more match. We've won the die roll. We're going to play first. And we'll keep this not beautiful, but it's not bad at all. We can turn to Prism, turn 3, leave up Counterspell, or if we draw an untapped blue source, we can do some other stuff. But I think for now, we'll build up our artifact count. He's blue-black. I'm hoping it's blue-black Delver and not some long-winded control deck. But even if that's the case, that's fine too. I mean, we might not be perfectly set up, but it's a winnable matchup. Okay, so here I'm going to go with Ichor Wellspring. I don't see any reason he would counter this. Yeah, we've got land drops for days, so that's good. He's going to think twice? No. Well, what are you doing then, man? What are you even doing? Let's play draw go. We're definitely hitting our land drops, which is great. This could be teachings. So this is kind of a moment of truth because we can counter this, but we do lose a bit of value. I think I'm going to go ahead and counter it. We have a couple turns to try and get to Mole Drifter. You know, it's definitely questionable. For now, it's not a 2-for-1. Once he gets up to 6 mana, it will be, but we're not quite there yet. There's a Galv Blast. And we're going to hold off on this till next turn, where we can fight over it. And it's a good thing we have main deck Relic access. Hopefully that can play a part. But here, by us playing this Mole Drifter and fighting over it, we stop him from getting to cast the teachings with flashback, so that's cool. Oh, it actually resolves. So maybe I will counter his his flashback. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna do it here. Even though it's a 2-for-1 on our part, we know he's gonna kill the Mole Drifter, and we know he's gonna do something to kind of take advantage of this tap out. But had he resolved the teachings, he'd have a counter to protect whatever he's doing anyway. So I'd rather just not give him the teachings. Now, he didn't counter that Mole Drifter, so I'm just going to go ahead and try another one. And we'll leave up Epiphany. Cool. I mean, that doesn't mean it's going to live. Maybe we just play Silkbind Fairy here, since it doesn't seem like he has a counter. I mean, he could have Mana Leak, but we want to get multiple threats down. I'd rather do that than draw 2 cards, so... We're forcing the action here. We're taking the aggressive role. He's going to start killing stuff. I wonder if his win condition is Curse of the Bloody Tome. It could also be Pristine Talismans and Evankar's Justice or Gurmag Angler. So both of those things survived and he did nothing on our end step. That is very strange to me. Okay, so he's going to Evankar's Justice. Alright, so be it. Bouncing either the Bog or the life gain land. Swamp. Well, I'm going to start with you. And I guess I'll leave up Artificer's Epiphany. We do have about 12 points of burn in hand. Yeah, I think I'd rather draw 2 cards than 1. And we also have the option of doing some Galv Blast stuff. So he picked up a swamp and now he's got a swamp. And he's got to play into this open mana. This is 4, 8, 10, 12. Still going to have to hit him for quite a lot. He's dealt with 3 of our creatures already. And that's not going to make things any easier. He is a little bit flooded. He's only down to 3 cards. We haven't seen him really draw anything yet. Well, that was pretty sweet. So let's bash first, see if he's going to try and kill this guy. I'll play out another Prophetic Prism. We have 4, 7 open mana here. So I can draw another card and play Frostburn Weird. I may even just shock him based on how many cards we have in hand. Ooh, well I can play that now. Actually, I'll run this first. If he counters this, I don't think I fight over it. But maybe I do. Yep. Okay, F4. We didn't need to play that because we actually only are down to 6 cards, but I want to use the mana up. Yep. He's got 4, 6, 9, 10 mana, so he can cast those teachings and flash it back. Seagate Oracle's fine. So it doesn't look like his win con is Curse. I think his win con is going to be Gurmag Angler. Not gonna fight over the talismans. I don't know what I want to do about this guy. I guess I can just attack into it. So, it's fine with me. My guy becomes a 3-2. Now, maybe he's got Agony Warp or something. At this point, I'm willing to probably fight over that. Okay. Actually, I'll just do all red. Red. I mean, I have a lot of burn. I could have just as easily tried to remove his guy. Yeah, so I'm going to fight that. Because why not? Sweet. We'll save this to possibly cycle if we're trying to find a counter spell. It's possible I may have wanted to cycle it already. He seems a bit flooded. He's got to have something going on. So we just go in again? Yeah, I'll go ahead and just pump this guy up. I don't think we need to play the longbow. Let's see what he thinks about that. Well, he thinks he's wow, I have 14 points right here. I just don't have the mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so we have to wait. I have 14 points. How disgusting. So he might teachings here. But he can also gain the life. I forgot about that. But we're going to start wanting to throw stuff at him. Okay, so I think I'm going to throw these at him now. Just drops him to 8. He's going to go back up to 10. I could cycle this, but I think I'll leave it up to throw at him. And this is giving him information, but just in case he tries to get a counter spell. It would be gross if he has Crypt Incursion or something. No, just a counter spell. Okay. So should I try to counter? I don't think so. Agony Warp. Alright. So that's going to buy him a turn. Plays an island. So we know 2 of his 4 cards. What's this? Okay, so he goes to 8. Now he's going to Agony Warp my guy. Sure. Well, that's going to make things a little rough. Maybe I should have tried to counter the Justice, but right now we're pretty close to just getting him. We just need a Galv Blast. So I can do both of these, and he's pretty much dead. Just make sure I have enough mana. I'm pretty sure I do. Because he can only counter part of the Firebolt. And maybe he doesn't, but I'm going to see if he does. It would be nice if he does. And maybe this is a mistake. So if he tries to do anything, he's dead to Galv Blast. Unfortunately, I mean, he can go up to 6 with the Justice. And he goes back to 4. And he's really skating on thin ice at that point. However, he is climbing out of it. I think maybe I'm too aggressive with these burn spells. Because now he's up to 6. I could just fish for a counterspell here, but I think I'm going to save this as a shock. We know he has counterspell in hand. Alright. Try this, try and get him to counter it. Oh, looks like he wants to kill it. He's going to go up to like 8. Diabolic Edict. Okay. Yeah, we might end up falling short this game. We have drawn way more cards than him. Ooh, I think we got him dead to rights now. He's going to be at 8, so... This is a lot of burn. Well, he's at 2. And he has a counter spell. So we don't quite have him yet. I think I keep jumping the gun. I can't respond to Talisman. I keep waiting for him to counter something. But he won't do it. And he has another Mystical Teachings. So now I think I have to sack this to draw a card. And hopefully draw another Galv Blast. I think I was just really terrible here. Because now I'm not sure I can win. But he also can't really win with his Justice plan. Well, he can, but... He's got a better late game because of Teachings. And the fact that he has all this removal helps him more than it helps me. Well, this is interesting. This Galv Blast doesn't do a lot for us now. We do have a counter spell, but we can't respond to his Talisman, so that's the problem. What do I do here? I think we just let it go. You know, maybe we fight over that. Another think twice, huh? If he flashes that back, I think I might ping him down to 2. Okay. Don't want to run out of time here. Another Galv Blast is a win, potentially. He's got a discard. I'm sure he's got more than one counterspell now. Ooh, these are both interesting. Except the Trinket Mage doesn't do anything. It just gets us a body. I guess it gets us a land. My assumption is that he's going to let me use this. Even though it doesn't do anything yet. I actually think I have to. I'm making a ton of mistakes here. I don't think this relic does much for us. As it stands, I think I'm just gonna leave it and see if we can snap something off with it. We know his hand's Counterspell, Evankar's Justice, and something else. We're just getting a land with this thing. And he's gonna kill it. Ooh. Okay. Well, his life total is climbing up astronomically. This is really going to. I'm just going to try and stop this now. We don't want to get bashed too much. This is really undoing all the burn damage that we tried to accomplish. So this is really sad. But I think we have a decent sideboard plan that includes Curse of the Bloody Tome and soaking up removal spells with Stormbound Geist. Try and speed this along. This is hurting my clock more than it's hurting him, so. Yep. And we'll just go for this. I'll hold this card. So he could play Justice. Which looks like that's what he's going to do. Yeah, so he is looking good here. It's looking like he's going to steal the show. Ooh, this is good. Except, I mean, both of our guys get killed by Justice. So I think I have to just cast this. See what he says to it. Seems like right now the clock is more of a concern than anything else. Definitely don't want either of those. Don't want to play Trinket Mage out because he's just going to kill it. Do I Firebolt him? I think the only way we really win is by getting his life total low enough. To make a fourth Galvanic Blast maybe possible. We're probably going to mill out also. He's got 9 seconds on us, so... I mean, I don't really know. Actually, I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't F6 because there's a chance I want to Relic him. Okay. There's a chance we can win this game. It's very slim. We have to draw an insane combo of cards right now. And that's not one of them. So I think I gotta Firebolt him and then blow the Relic. I mean, that's not too bad. Ooh, there's the Galv Blast. We know he has a counter spell. So I can't really risk it. Because he's just going to counter. He'll stay at 4. So we have a chance to draw a counter spell. Unless I've used them all. 1, 2, 3. Justice. Sure. And that is not a counter spell. But if he keeps casting Evankar's Justice, he's stuck at 4. Oh, I don't have it in my deck. So I guess I'm just going to go for it, and if he counters, I will concede, because I have nothing else to do here. One, two, three, four. Yeah, I used all 4. Okay. Cool, cool. So we want to remove some of the burn here. Some of our creature removal. I don't think we need the Spell Bomb. He just doesn't have a lot of creature threats. Now, maybe he's playing Angler. We actually didn't see it. The Silkbind Fairy Longbow combo might also want to go. I think these are going to be what we're looking at. Oops, wrong card. And play another Relic. And then I guess we can keep in 1 Galvanic Blast or Curse, depending on what we're thinking. I'm thinking he maybe has Angler, so that's going to be a better option. Now, we're not directly trying to kill him with guys. We're trying to kill him with Curse of the Bloody Tome. And then if we still have some guys in the deck, he has to keep in removal spells. So this is a hand we can keep. Pressures him a bit, but also allows us to hit our land drops and interact with that Pyroblast. Now he's deciding if he wants to keep. The clock's going to be incredibly important here. So, I mean, that's one of the ways we can win this match. And you can tell that we're both so tight on time. It's very back and forth. So I actually want to check and make sure that, yeah, I think we're on. Okay. So this is going to be real tight. There's about a 15-second difference. As you can see, we're both going. So I'm going to preordain first, and I'm going to cast Relic, I think. Yeah, we want both of these actually, but I'll put the Guild Gate first. He's got an untapped land, so I think I'm actually just going to preordain here. Ooh, good, good, good. We don't have the land for this Muldrifter. So, I'm going to bottom it. Then I'm going to fight over this. See what he thinks. If he casts Think twice, I have to turn off auto yields. Okay. Tapping out for Seagate Oracle. Yeah, that's fine. I have a response to that, and I can blow him up at any time. Cool. So here I'm going to play the weird. I could play Wellspring and leave up double red, but this is the line I'm going with. It's better to make a quick decision that the decision's slightly worse than to take up a longer amount of time for... Okay, that's fine. Swamp. So now I can attack him. If he blocks, I can double pump. Otherwise, I'm just gonna hit him and then play the other Frostburn Weird out. Okay, so now we attack with both. Go for the double pump on the guy he blocks. I have 2 copies of Pyroblast. Yep. Now, he may have something that I can't counter, but that's okay. We're going to try it. Yeah, that's fine. And I'm just going to pass on 2 Pyroblasts. So I'm going to kill this. Turned off the auto yield, so I should have priority for a second here. Sure. Sure. Okay, found a land drop. It's going to attack me. So... I think I pump once here. Play Trinket Mage and play another Relic. Where is it? Hiding with my lands. Interesting. Cool. Your turn. He's got a huge advantage in terms of number of cards. But he's running out of time, so I mean that's perhaps the biggest advantage of them all. If he attacks, I'll just take it. I'm not willing to like take any risks. So we have 6 mana. I'm gonna go ahead and just attack here. Okay, so I think I just pump once. And I'm gonna make him try and answer this. So the reason I only pumped once, I can leave up Relic Activation and Pyroblast. So he's going for the teachings, I think. Rewind. No. No. What a jerk. Well, that's going to resolve. Not too bad, though. I mean, we're now a full minute ahead. So we just got to stay in the game. Now we got a counter spell, so let's draw a card first. Actually, yeah, we didn't have the lands to... Okay, let's just attack. I think now we can pump twice. See what that gets us. 3 damage to the dome, not bad. Alright, F4. Here it comes. So do I try and counter? Oh, capsize. Yeah, definitely try and counter that. Alright. Well, oops. The heck was that? Okay, he just passes. So now I'm going to go for this. Because we have the Dispel up. He's used like 3 counter spells already. Oh, that's a good one. Come on, come on. Alright, that's it. Let's hope the Dispel works. Nope, no attack. He did not go for it. So it seems like he might not have a way to protect it. Let's see. We're gonna find out. He opted not to do that. Maybe it's Justice. Maybe it's Evan Carr's Justice. That would be interesting. Yeah, I think it is Justice. Well, that's gonna resolve. we've got 7. So we know that any creature we play can get killed by Justice. So let's go a different route and go for the Frostburn Weird. I mean, we also know about the... Ooh, and there it is. But we want to try and kill the... Kill the Dispel first. Okay. Okay, so now I'm gonna try and get this. He gave me a chance to respond. So that, I think that was possibly a mistake on his part. I mean, if he's planning to cast it anyway, I guess it doesn't matter. Just F4. What is he getting? Swamp. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he does have Dispel around. Or, sorry, Capsize. So this should be really interesting. Let's go ahead and attack first. Try and get him to give up that Capsize. Oh, wow. 3, 7, 8. Well, I'll just make him take it. 3, 7, 8. So I'm going to cast this. Yeah, this is fine. I'll just cast the Muldrifter. I don't really have time to think. It's more important to have the extra time ready. So I guess I challenge him on this, even though I'm trying to kill the Capsize at this point. He didn't really need to counter that, but... Ooh, nice draw. Okay, let's pass. Actually, perfect draw for considering what our mana's looking like. So I guess I just play Curse now. He's going to Justice again. Okay. Just pass. Well, I'm going to attack you again, buddy. So I have 4, 8, 9. So I'll pump once. And now we're going upstairs in a different kind of way. Yeah, the counting of the pumping is actually wrong. Well, I'm going to fight this even though we know he's got a surprise for me. Jeez, so many counter spells. I think it's going to be alright though. Now I could try and draw another one. Oh, this part of it doesn't matter. He actually went to counterspell the Curse of the Bloody Tome. That's fine. I guess I'll cast this to make him Justice again. And what have you. And I'll have to play that. Just because I want to activate Relic if I need to. And it masks what my last card is. Yeah, so he's going for that. Which is fine. Man, so many counters. I think that gives him quite an edge. And that kind of sucks. We know he has 4 cards left. Maybe I just hold back at this point. If he has a removal spell, it's better for me to make him wait for me to do all this than to just sit back and pass. Oh, he really does have something. Oh, Capsize, that's right. But of course. Well, things are getting very interesting. I've kind of used up a lot of my good spells, so and that's a good one. Probably should have sacked the prism actually. So that doesn't actually do anything, but just takes up more time. Actually, it means if he wants to attack, I get to kill one of his oracles. Well, I guess he can capsize, but he chose not to. Oh, that sucks. Well, I'm gonna run this now because we need to figure out what the heck we're doing here. It's not too bad. Okay, well, what we're doing is getting beat the hell down. I don't know that we're gonna win this one, guys. It's not looking too good. I mean, it's looking like he can finish us off within the next 4 minutes, even though we're running all of this. But we're gonna fight the good fight. Ugh, it's a lot of lands. Yeah, we're going to 5. So I don't think we. And he's got just like a full grip of stuff. He's got capsizes and all kinds of nonsense. So the Evan Carr's Justice version of Blue Black is not exactly something we're really set up to fight, as you can see. But I think my deck still pretty much rocks, despite all this flood here. And GG's. That's going to do it, guys. So I still really like this deck. We were able to take out a matchup we were not expecting, which is Elves, and we were able to take out an expected matchup, Delver, when we mis-sideboarded, thinking it was Esper Familiars. So I really think that this bodes well for the deck. The card Artificer's Epiphany is it's not stunning, but it did spawn the thought process for making of this deck. I really like the ability to utilize Galvanic Blast and Kuldotha Rebirth in a control deck, and I'm sure the deck tech video will kind of reiterate all of that. But thank you guys very much for watching, and we will talk to you guys in 2 weeks here at MTGOacademy.com for this lovely article series. Time. Dozen!